Hey everyone, my name is Robert Lee, and it's kind of hard to follow these two. I just wanted to share my story, really. And I was actually born here in New York, in Queens. Born to two Korean immigrants who came here looking for a better life. And they knew no English. And actually, they still don't know any English. They moved back to Korea, and my mom is now actually pursuing an associate's degree in college. It's crazy, and it's inspiring. And she's pursuing her dreams, and it's really made me also think about my dreams. And my dream is to live in a world where we have every single time we have an event or a restaurant closes down for the night, we take their excess food and we bring it to people who need it. And the reason why is simple. Food is just so important. I mean, it's so crucial, right? I mean, you need food to survive. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I don't think people really think about it or really know it the way I do. Because when I was growing up, there were times when my brother and I would just have one bowl of ramen, or ramen. And that would be it for the entire day. There were times I would go to school and I would watch my classmates cut off their little ends of the sandwiches because they didn't like the crust. And they would throw it away, and it would blow my mind. I would be like, "What are you doing?" and like, you know, I saw people throwing away like the bags of like the baby carrots and their apples and all kinds of things, and it just destroyed me. And it just continued throughout my education. And there were times when it didn't matter if it was math, like I loved math. It didn't matter what subject or like my best teacher was, my favorite teacher was teaching because I was hungry, and I just couldn't focus. And it continued to the point where I just chose finance because I wanted to make sure that my parents or my family would never go through something like this again. I wanted to make a ton of money and just make sure that this never happened. And so I went to NYU for the Stern School of Business to basically pursue finance. And while I was there in college, I came across this club that brought leftover dining hall food to homeless shelters. And I was immediately enamored because it was such a simple, elegant, the concept of food rescue was just relatively new to me. I always thought it was illegal. I was like, I was trying to just do it on my own, and it kind of came to this point where I was like, wow, this club figured it out. Like, there's this federal law that protects food donors. There's this way to engage students to fill in the gaps of these larger organizations that were doing already great work, and we could make a difference. And of course, I never strayed from my finance path. My parents would have never let me. And I continued to intern at UBS Financial Services at JP Morgan and ended up getting a full-time offer. And in my senior year, after I signed my life away, I really started thinking about what my life would be like. Probably a little too late at that point. But essentially, I thought about how I never wanted to let go of this concept. And also the fact that when I go to a restaurant and I ask them what they do with their excess food, they just say they throw it out. They don't want to deal with any of the liability. They don't want to deal with any of the packaging or all the work that comes in with basically taking it to people who need it. And for me, I thought, what a strange thing. That the fact is there's just so many people who are food insecure, people like I was. And we could just take the excess food that we're going to throw away anyways and bring it over. And it could just completely, just utterly be like completely eliminated. And I thought, I'm going to work on this and start rescuing leftover cuisine, which is a super long, self-explanatory name, but pretty hard to say. And essentially, with rescuing leftover cuisine, I ended up working at JP Morgan and working on this on the side. I would go to work every day, and at nights and weekends, I would work on this concept because it obviously made so much to me to do this, but also there were just these crazy stories, right? For instance, there was one time we rescued food from this place called 225 Bistro, which is right here in the financial district. And it's just like a deli store, typical place where you go for lunch. And they close at 6 because in the financial district everyone just leaves and no one ever lives there. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but everyone closes at 6 and they throw out all their food in their deli line. And they have all this hot spaghetti meatballs, sushi, salads, all kinds of things. And at that location, on that day, we were able to actually take that food and walk it over to a homeless shelter called the New York City Rescue Mission in Chinatown. Actually, essentially, they just ran out of food. And with the food we brought from the 225 Bistro location, we were actually able to get those 15 people inside the homeless shelter and have them have a hot meal. While we were there, one of the 15 people came over to me and said, thank you. I mean, like, without this food, I would have to go from homeless shelter, try and find a meal. And now I can actually figure out what my next move is. And now I can think about what the long-term situation is and how I can get myself out. And the fact is, that man had a job. He already was working. He was already figuring things out. There's just other situations that he had been through with a health problem that he had to basically face this situation alone. And for me, it struck me that I could have used something like that when I was young. And my family, of course, they were too prideful to ever go to a homeless shelter or seek a food pantry, but we could have used that kind of help. We could have easily had a community location or a restaurant to just donate the excess food, or at least think about the community nearby and donate the excess food instead of throwing it away. And to me, figuring out that obviously there's all this amazing support from the government to actually make food donation a thing, I was able to actually kind of use my business background. So I went to Stern and majored in finance, and that was amazing. And honestly, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to do any things that we do right now, because one of the kind of easy things about the model is obviously it's an emotional pull to me, but it's also such an elegant and efficient model. And one of the things that I realized was that obviously giving back is important, but if we can tie that into a financial incentive and allow the food donors to actually get money back, then we can make this universal. We can change the system and allow for all restaurants to actually donate their food and get money back for doing it. And finally, my finance degree kind of kicked into play. We figured out that there's an IRS incentive for restaurants to get enhanced tax deductions, and we can take a percentage so that we can be an organically growing nonprofit organization that earns revenue, that allows us to continue to grow and expand operations and provide a consistent level of service. To take that excess food and bring it home shelters. And so it kind of was that melding of the mind and heart for me, and came to the point where I was thinking about the same thing. I was thinking about I could continue to do my job and do what everyone has been telling me, which is work, make tons of money, build your network, and then when you're old, give back, and and have impact that way, which is amazing. And for me, if I hadn't gone through what I had gone through when I was a kid, I think that's what I would have done. But knowing that there are so many millions of Americans, and even here in New York, which is worse, that are literally trying to find a place to find food and being turned away by different places, killed me. And I knew that if I committed my time, if I spent my time to do this, I could make such a much more big impact. And so now we're at the point, that was actually 5 years ago now that I quit my job. And so we're in 16 cities across the nation. We're doing about 1 million pounds of food every year, and we'll continue to expand. But if I hadn't really kind of taken the time to give back and really give the time of day to the club, that little passion of mine on the side, then I wouldn't really be here. And I wouldn't be happy every day and really feeling like I can make an impact. So thank you for being here, and thank you for providing the opportunity for me to speak. And I'll pass it on to the next person.